Yep.
Hello dear, you've reached Mary Jane Malaya. I can get
That's 800-655-5186 for a free 2024 Gold Guide and learn how to protect your life's work. 77 WABC News, continuing the tradition of delivering
Hey,
the best rate.
I'm in storage. I'm on the way home. Can you do the pasta?
storage.
Yeah, you know, I'm in storage next to Rachel. So can I start live now? Can you do the pasta?
But you're gonna be late for a couple of minutes if you're gonna come back.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Times Square, you know. Yeah, maybe I'll leave it on for a while. Yeah, so take her to the playground, take her to pizza place. You know, stuff you're supposed to do and you don't do. Something
No,
like that.
I can take her.
What?
I can take her.
You can take her?
Instead of coming over you should worry.
No, she said it's not a school day. I don't have a permission to work.
Okay, up to you.
But you need to fix my phone. That
Looks like you have a lot of money.
no, but you don't. She's keep calling me. Passenger tell me go home.
She's not calling you. I didn't hear she's calling you.
She called me. I can show you the call log, you know, call section. She can call from the iPad. She can call from the Apple TV, Apple Watch.
Okay.
I mean, does somebody want to buy the scooter and I need to arrange it?
That's fine.
So I ask you to charge it.
Okay.
She's a single mom. She had a scooter like that. She got stolen, this and that. You see, my fear is that I should sell the scooter before the battery died, because every year or so the battery start to mishmash, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna sell it before I'll be acting silly, because this is I changed one time the battery. Now when I used to go pizza place, the battery down. So I put new battery, it's got better. Slowly it's acting up.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay, no problem.
this guy from Canada, the couple, wanna come to Christmas. He want to see the apartment. I went to show him video. I thought already 250. Rachel showed up. She said, no way, I want 300. I thought I already told him 250.
Oh yeah.
She's so greedy. She said, I want 250 for me. I said, no, you're gonna get 200. So now, dilemma. Let's see.
All right, see you soon.
Okay, so pasta, don't forget the pasta.
All right.
Babushka. What's up, Skinny? What's up? How you doing, people? How you doing? On to the next one. On to the next one. What's up, people? What's up? How is everybody? Who's in the building? Is anybody in the building? Representative?
Have you heard about the child forbearance linked yet? Pfizer allegedly failed to disclose the potential risks of the shots to estrogen. And as it turns out, women who took the double shot for 12 months or more may have a 550% higher chance of developing a brain tumor. So whether you took the double shot for birth control or to alleviate endometriosis or menopausal symptoms, you may be eligible to seek compensation and justice. Click the link now.
Find your perfect stay on the Booking.com app. A hotel in the city or a beachfront stay with a view. Unlock your stay for less and exclusive prices. Download the free Booking.com app today.
Shush.
Days at 3 p.m. before the rush hour with those nerdlings. Are you out of your mind? 77 WABC. Today, Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors our veterans. William Joseph Gilbert
What's up,
and Elizabeth
Skinny? Who's
Stewart
in the
were ready to
building?
become part of something meaningful.
My dear
and
love,
much
Sally
bigger than
Scapio, me
himself.
love you
You
long
know,
time. Shelly and Anthony, my dear love, Shelly and Anthony. How is marriage life, Shelly and Anthony Hoffman? Good evening. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, don't miss the coffee.
What about thickeners and added sugar? None. Just smooth coconutty goodness. What can we make with it? From curries to sweet treats like coconut blends? The possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question. Find it in the gold section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good. WABC Newsroom Extra. The future of New York City's controversial congestion pricing plan remains. It's heading back to the White House. On the campaign trail, Trump said he would kill the plan to charge drivers $15 to enter below 60th Street in Manhattan. Drivers, they're not sure what to think.
I don't really believe much of anything he says. He kind of said a lot of things like a lot of politicians do that they make promises to kind of get votes.
Cathy Hoko. Yep, Dr. Ray in the building. Dr. Ray in the building. What? Yeah, Times Square. Times Square is next. So far I was in JFK and the Bronx. And we had 100 done. 106. Waiting for the tips. Oh yeah, Veteran Day. That's why we got all this traffic. Veteran Day. A lot of traffic. Fifth Avenue closed. That's the problem. Oh, Veteran Day. That's the problem. That's the problem. Veteran Day. Yep. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on. Sugar White Fifth Avenue.
Estimated time in traffic, 17
Yeah,
minutes.
Sugar White Fifth Avenue.
Let's take 2nd Avenue, East 19th Street, Manhattan. Estimated time in traffic, 17
Yeah, I
minutes.
should avoid Fifth Avenue because Fifth Avenue is a lot of
In 1.7 miles, turn right on East 19th Street.
Park Avenue. Lexington, Lexington.
I think the big takeaway is being thankful for their service and their sacrifice for our country.
We're all set. Drive safely. In 600
years. And we do have New York City-based veterans that come out to where I live in the Red Bank area in New Jersey. And for 8 years, they've been doing equine therapy. They've been doing sailing in the summers with us.
Equine therapy is riding horses.
Turn right on
Equine
3rd
therapy is
Avenue.
actually therapy with the horse and the veteran. So most people don't realize that horses are a very majestic animal. They can hear your heartbeat 4 feet away from them. And because they're pack animals, they can actually read your body and the way that you actually move. So they mirror your emotions. So it's fascinating to see. I've seen grown men go to tears while they're doing this type of stuff.
I had no idea. That is wild. A horse knows.
Yep. When you think about it, like vision quests for Indians go way back, right? So many hundreds of years. So that's really how it all sort of got introduced. But equine therapy is more mainstream now than it has been in the last couple of years.
Hey, by the way, I'm looking at a guy. He's a jacket on USMC. He's got the flamethrower at the turn. It's a tank with a flame coming out from the north. Have we had that stuff? I think that's...
Yeah, so I always said, I don't know if you said it, but a badass MOS in the Marine Corps is something that they can no longer have because found to be inhumane.
All right, so they don't do that anymore. That's a good thing.
Right.
Regular bullets.
But we did have Woody Williams, a World War II veteran. He was actually a flamethrower and took out 7 pillboxes in World War II.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, how's your French going? You can say,
Va de facilite grandement l'apprentissage du nouvel langue.
now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval. Such a good system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
It's great to be number one. 77 WABC is reaching so many people that love what we do.
So
And the
many
reason we
people.
are number one is because of you. Thank you for making us your number one choice. And we know our number one job is informing you and entertaining you. WABC stands for We're Always Bringing Common Sense. And we prove it to you every day. Thanks for listening to 77 WABC. What everybody's talking about Judge Janine Pirro. Sunday morning at 11. It's the Judge Janine Tunnel the Towers Foundation Sunday morning show. On 77 WABC. In 2024, you get more at Ramsey Mazda. More selection, over 750 new vehicles available, and more savings, like a new 2024 Mazda CX-5, starting at just $29,276, or the Mazda CX-30, starting at just $25,790, or drive the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90, starting at just $38,354, with third-row seating and expansive cargo space. The Mazda CX-90 is the SUV that gives you more in 2024. Ramsey Mazda is the proud recipient of the 2023 President's Club Award and the 2024 Cars.com Consumer Satisfaction Award. Visit RamseyMazda.com and let them make shopping for your new Mazda fast, easy, and convenient with their modern state-of-the-art showroom on Route 17 North in Ramsey, New Jersey. Get more in 2024 in a new Mazda from Ramsey Mazda. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda.
With Get Covered New Jersey, get quality, affordable health coverage with choices that fit your life and your budget. 9 in 10 get financial help, and many pay $10 a month or less. All plans provide free preventive care, coverage for prescriptions, emergency services, and more. Enroll at getcovered.nstate.gov.
Now, the latest from the 77 WABC newsroom. Hosted
Dominic Carter can be heard on 77 WABC every weekday afternoon at 4 p.m. and then again at midnight each weekday. Recent topics have centered on the just completed election and the issue of border security. While Dominic celebrated the election win for Trump, some of his callers balked at that and indicated they were unhappy that Harris didn't win, but most of his callers are admittedly on Dominic's side of the issue.
Gina in Brooklyn, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. How are you? I heard that woman crying earlier with that little piece that you played. My question was, did that woman cry like that when she heard about that little girl in Texas that was brutally raped and murdered, or Lincoln Riley, or the mother of 5? Did she cry like that as if it was as tragic as her losing her freebie?
This is an assumption on my part. You know, we have to be straight and honest. Did she cry when she received her welfare checks or her food stamps? Of course not. Of course not. And to have the nerve to refer to the president-elect of the United States of America as a felon. And you're not even supposed to be here.
It's just so disheartening, and I was disgusted when I heard all that drama.
Of course, there is something that's much more controversial than Dominic's political take, his singing.
Ice, ice, baby. I love the sound of that. Ice, ice, baby.
Another thing I wanted to say was, you know, Dominic, because of your voice, you know, coming from your heart, you can sing like a bird. You can sing, and I love music for many years.
I can't sing. But thank you. But it is coming from the heart.
You can always download the Dominic Carter Show as a podcast on the 77 WABC app. I'm James Flippin.
Well, think about it. If you pulled a random New Yorker off the street and asked them, who is the biggest supporter of veterans in America? What one person? And I believe probably 9 out of 10 of them, possibly coast to coast, would say Gary Sinise, the great actor, and also an activist, really, and a supporter of veterans in so many ways. He's the founder of the Gary Sinise Foundation. He's actually made music often dedicated to veterans, and we're so thrilled to have this wonderful actor with us and great supporter of veterans for, 30-plus years now. Gary Sinise, thanks for being here. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good, Greg, and thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
Gary, could you tell us was there a moment, Forrest Gump role or something else, where you decided that you were going to make this part of your life's mission, this work that you've done to support veterans? I'm curious, was there one moment, or was it a gradual thing? What happened?
I think it was several steps along the way. I have veterans in my family. My wife's side of the family, my side of the family. I got very involved. On her side of the family are 3 Vietnam veterans, and I got to be, pretty close with them when I was young. And I received a pretty good education from them about, serving over in Vietnam and then coming home to a, divided nation and how difficult that was for them. And then I played a Vietnam veteran in Forrest Gump in the 90s, and that started me working with our wounded. Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump is, of course, a double amputee, lost both his legs. And that led me to start working with our Disabled American Veterans Organization, and then, various things along the way, supporting Vietnam veterans. And then all of a sudden, on September 11th, 2001, we started. Can you hear me?
Hello? We can hear you. Keep going, Barry. We can hear you loud and clear. I know there's literally a parade in the background. It might be tough for you to hear, but we can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay. Well, after Forrest Gump, I felt like I was teed up to do something even more, make need more action, and so that's why I got very involved after September 11th with supporting our active duty service members that deploying to Iraq and Afghanistan. And that just led me to working with the USO and multiple military nonprofits over the years, and then eventually I started my own, the Gary Sinise Foundation.
And the music you make is great. And forgive me, but your late son, Max Sinise, was also gifted musically. The release of his new album, folks can go to GarySinise.com. GarySinise.com.
No, it's actually Greg. It's actually Gary Sinise Foundation.org.
No time schedule.
And
I've got two emails. I've got that one here, GarySiniseFoundation.org. GarySiniseFoundation.org. Forgive me. Let's get the right. GarySiniseFoundation.org. And I'm sorry, please continue.
This customer called me around.
yeah, thank you for mentioning our son. He was there's a story on the website at GarySiniseFoundation.org
But they said it was a
that
leak beneath
tells
their
his
sink, and they really
story.
needed a plumber to come out today.
Unfortunately, he died
So I
of
told them I
cancer
could try to
in
get there between 5:30 and
January
6:30.
of this year.
They said that
January
was fine
5th.
with them, and they would be home.
Yeah,
So when I finished up my last
5.5
job, I
year
called them
battle
and let them know I was on the
with a
way, and
very
I got to their
serious
phone
rare
around
cancer
6:30.
called
When I looked
lymphoma.
beneath the kitchen sink to figure out what was
It was
leaking, I
a
found
very
this
long
vacuum
struggle
cleaner.
for
I did
all
not
of
have one of
us,
these deep
you know,
vacuum
just
cleaners on
trying
the
to
truck, and with it being
fight
so late in the day,
alongside
there was
him
no
and
supply houses that were
help
open.
him
I
through
did
it,
try to
but
go
he
to
was
the
a
Home Depot that
resilient,
was right down the street, but of course
amazing
they
guy.
were stocked.
And
Since this
before he
customer
was
needed this fixed
diagnosed, he was
tonight, I
working for the
reinstalled
Gary
an
Sinise
existing vacuum
Foundation.
strainer
He
with a
loved
plumber's
the
putty,
mission of
put
the
in
Gary
green,
Sinise
and it was sealed.
Foundation. He was a
Once everything was
musician,
installed, I
a
filled the sink up with
composer, and
water
I asked
multiple
him to
times
write
and
some
then
music
dumped it down the drain just to
for
verify that there was no
some of our
leaks.
videos
Thankfully,
that our
this was a pretty
video
simple repair, so I was
guys
able to get it done
make
before it
to
got too
show our
late.
programs
They
at the
figured
Gary
plumber.
Sinise Foundation. And right before he died, he got back into music. The cancer fight really was very, very difficult for him, and he had to step away from music. But the year he died,
After Michael Jordan's father was
last year,
murdered in
he said, "Dad,
1993,
I have a piece of
Jordan
music
hired
I want to
numerous
finish that
bodyguards
I'd
for
never
family
finished in
protection.
college." And he
Jeffrey
went
was
to work on
accompanied by
it.
bodyguards
It's
to
at
and
Max
from school,
Sinise
and had
YouTube.
to inform them of any
It's called
changes in his
Arctic
basketball
Circles,
schedule.
and there
If
you'll
there were
also see
last-minute changes,
videos
he couldn't join the
of
team.
other music
As
that he
Jordan's son,
recorded
Jeffrey
last
had
year,
easy
put
access
it
to
on an
various
album
training
called
camps, and the
Resurrection
media
Revival.
attention around him often
And
surpassed.
then after he died, I found all this additional music on his laptop that he wrote. So I decided to make a part 2. And part 2 is now released and available at GarySiniseFoundation.org. It's a beautiful collection of compositions that he wrote. All the proceeds from the first record, he wanted to go to the Gary Sinise Foundation to help our veterans. And so for the second record, Resurrection and Revival Part 2, all the proceeds will go to the Gary Sinise Foundation to honor this mission in Mac's name. And, you know, it's very hard losing our son, of course. We're all devastated by it. But last night, yesterday was his birthday. He would have been 34, and we had a release party for the new record and played some of the music for a group of friends and family, and now the record's available on the Gary Sinise Foundation website.
Wow, I'm so sorry for your loss. We're so sorry, but what a legacy. GarySiniseFoundation.org. Yeah, man, well, we're privileged again that you're with us. And Gary, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about acting?
Sure, great.
You know, number one, I come from a law enforcement family. You totally nailed it. I think the movie was Ransom. You played that cop who was not such a nice cop. You just nailed it. Are you one of those guys who like hangs out with a cop for a year and a half to learn the role, or does it come naturally? How do you do it?
You know, for Ransom, I went to New York. We were shooting in New York, and I did do some drive-alongs with a couple of detectives, but not a lot. You know, the script was very good, and you know, I remember when I read it at first, because the guy was, you know, not such a good guy. I really was a little bit turned off by it. Really couldn't see myself doing it, but I'm glad I ended up doing it. And Ron Howard was a great director, did a great job. It was really fun working with Mel Gibson on the movie, and just it's just kind of fun to play the bad guy.
You know, movies now, it's so hard to keep up with the content. It hits you all the time, Netflix or whatever. And some of these movies that you are in, such classics that stay with people. They're in our hard drives. You know, they're in our kind of psyche forever. And I think that's it's a testament to you and the quality. And hey, if you don't mind, I have a big regret about Forrest Gump. Your character, I think, bought a lot of Apple stock and was able to set a forest for life. If people went out and did what Lieutenant Dan did and bought Apple stock, they'd be multi-millionaires right now. Do you remember that part of the movie?
Oh yeah, I remember the narration there that Forrest was talking about. He said Lieutenant Dan invested in some kind of fruit company. And they ended up making $1 gazillion on it.
I remember also in the Forrest then says, you know, one less thing to worry about. Money's not a problem. I also had a little footnote here, and forgive me, I don't remember you in the movie. Then again, I saw it as a little kid. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Are you in that?
Oh, no, not the movie. I was in the play on Broadway. We actually did the play at Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago. I'm one of the co-founders of the theater. And in 2000, we did a revival of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on stage in Chicago, and then we moved it to London. And then in 2001, we moved it to Broadway, and it won the Best Revival Tony Award. And it did very well. It closed July 29th, 2001. It was supposed to close September 16th, 2001, but we moved up the closing date. And so, you know, if it had run to September 16th, I would have been in New York on September 11th, 2001. But that event, September 11th, changed everything, and Cuckoo's Nest was the last play that I did, really. Because I went on full on into service work after that, and trying to support our
feature
veterans.
is definitely the selfie mode.
Well,
I'm a
you moved
YouTuber.
the
I
needle.
love
You
capturing
moved the
content and
needle
memories of my
in
friends and loved
such
ones.
a significant way. The Gary Sinise Foundation, helping critically wounded veterans and first responders find their way with home improvements or building brand new homes, helping
I'm
first
obsessed with the
responders,
panoramic moon room.
and
My
donating
favorite-
life-saving equipment. I think I just might be scratching the surface. What's another priority of your foundation, if you don't mind, Gary?
I'm obsessed.
Well, there's a lot that we do at the foundation, and we have a very broad mission, because before I started the foundation, I was working with a lot of other nonprofits that were doing a lot of different types of things. And I learned where all these different needs were, and I wanted to continue to play a role in trying to fill those needs. So that's why our mission is broad at the Gary Sinise Foundation. You mentioned the home building program. That's called RISE, Restoring Independence, Supporting Empowerment. And that is to put our hands on and try to support through home building and adapted vehicles, mobility devices, whatever, our wounded who've been critically injured in service to our country. Today, just now, I just got back about an hour ago from handing over the keys to our 94th specially adapted smart technology mortgage-free home to a double amputee U.S. Army Ranger Joshua Hargis in Tennessee. It's a great program. It's one program. We support the families of our fallen. We have multiple programs there that focus on the families, and a big program that focuses on the children of our fallen heroes. We call that Snowball Express, and we do events all across the country. We do retreats for them, spouses of fallen heroes. It's a very vigorous program to try to make sure that those who have sacrificed and lost loved ones in service know that they're appreciated, and that there are services that we are providing to help them through their grief and try to help them along after losing a loved one. That's just one of, those are a couple of
Use the left lane to turn left on East
SineseFoundation.org. You'll see on the program page multiple initiatives that we're involved in.
Well, that's awesome. Gary Sinise, privileged to talk to you. We love the movies, we love the organization, and we love you. So everybody, check out the GarySiniseFoundation.org. GarySiniseFoundation.org. We don't have to say www anymore. Everybody knows how to get on the web. Gary Sinise, thanks for being with us.
I sure appreciate it, Greg. And to all our veterans out there, God bless you for serving our country. We can never do enough for you as far as I'm concerned.
Well said, Gary. Thank you so much. Gary Sinise, everybody, and we'll be right back.
And I don't know how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Establishing goals is hard. When your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you...
Dave E, what's up, Dave E? How you doing? Dave E in the building. Dave E in the building, representative.
EL. Of all types to the country.
Dave E in the building, representative,
We
right?
all have an obligation to think about war, to think about how we're using the military, and also to always be praying for peace.
Phil Cly, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you.
Phil Cly, Marine Corps veteran and author of Redeployment and Uncertain Ground. Coming up, critic at large John Powers reviews the new movie musical.
I'm good.
A
Happy
Brilliant
Veteran
Man.
Day. Happy
This is
Veteran
Fresh
Day.
Air.
City is busy because Fifth Avenue is closed for the Veteran Day.
How they vote on their state ballot measures.
I'm gonna go home, take my baby playground and pizza. There's no school today. Children, no school. I'm gonna go home, take my Aya for pizza and playground. She won't let me work on days that there's no school. I don't have permission to work on non-school days. Ay, 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 ay. So many people. So many people. What's up? What's up?
Estimated time in traffic, 14 minutes.
Yeah, Grand Central, baby. Grand Central. MGO. Rihanna.
Now, as it leapfrogs between contradictory emotional registers, Amelia's parents is a bumpy, freewheeling ride with 16 songs
Rihanna Lynn.
and composer Clement Ducrot. These range from small sentimental tunes to big, overtly political numbers about the machismo and corruption of Mexico's
That's Rihanna Lynn.
Although the music is good, I still wonder how Mexico's will react to Mexico's violent and its drug wars toward an into a musical about a nightmare changeable gender identity. After all, the one takes this dream-high Berlin-bred blaster from making human meat pies and Victorian London. Quite amazing what people singing and dancing take presently in Mexico, with tens of thousands of people dancing. Especially when it's still happening. And again, the musical is about creating freedom. Not only do they specialize in the lyrical segment of music, the colors and movement,
So many people.
to the vastly stylized with the rules and rhythms and note of song. We're obviously in the realm of fable. Don't get stuck to the merely established and continuously based. It's taken off most of the movements that made their younger and become someone new and better. Of course, even fairy tales need something human to hold on to. For heaven's sake, it's the quartet of female songs.
So many people.
And Gomez would face off in
So
numbers
bad.
and pop anything they seemed in bound to issue motion. Although Soldani has never been Mexico, the movie finally belongs to Jack Scott. Knowing the story from the inside, it's the real and the winning uniqueness of gravity and persistent complexity, the story that we always tell.
Goddamn bug. Goddamn bug.
Very much said Senator Sanders. Audience movies have always been fascinated by human personal transformation, for good or ill.
Buggy, buggy, buggy.
Who reinvents himself like passing of the transformation stalwart. Or Marion Cotillard's orchestrator, Rustin Bond, who learns to live after losing direction. In Amelia's Terror, audience suggests that Amelia's liberation from her male body was crazy, to the times in Venice. She also has a political point to make. For Amelia to be so mysterious with past, it's not enough to simply find
multiple coverage options designed to fit business owners' needs. More about small business insurance is at thegrocerystore.com. WNYC is built on listener support. Your donation supports reporting from the WNYC newsroom, NPR, and the BBC. Keeping you informed and connected to events in your community and around the world is our commitment to you. Please connect to us with your financial contribution today by becoming a member now. Visit WNYC.org and click on Support for WNYC comes from the Town Hall, presenting a double-class ensemble performing Holocausty Live to Tell, the second of Daphne Brentihill's Cosby trilogy. Music composed by Philip Glass, Tuesday, December 3rd at 8 p.m. More info at thetownhall.org. Good Monday afternoon. I'm Jimmy Peter. You're listening to WNYC. Happy Veterans Day to those who serve. Thank you. It's a minute before 3. Up next, it's 1A, followed by All Things Considered, coming up at 4. We hope you'll stick around. 25 out there today, it's 67 degrees. It'll be mostly clear tonight with a low around 47. And on Tuesday, sunny skies ahead with a high around 53.
To the White House. And Trump is naming the former director of ICE as his border czar. Trump announced that Tom Homan will be in charge of enforcing immigration policy in a weekend post on Truth Social. Earlier this year, Homan promised to run the biggest deportation force this country has ever seen if Trump got elected. And President-elect Trump also nominating New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to serve as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Before the election, Stefanik said she was open to the idea of joining Trump's administration.
Well, I, of course, would be honored to serve in any capacity in the Trump administration. I'm proud to be the first member of Congress to endorse his re-election. I'm proud to be a strong supporter of President Trump.
And Trump confirmed that news to the New York Post. Meanwhile, in terms of the election last week, the U.S. Senate race in Arizona yet to be decided 6 days past the casting of ballots. As of last night, about 91% of Arizona's ballots had been counted, showing that Democrat Ruben Gallego is leading the race. That said, his advantage over Republican Carrie Lake has shrunk in the days since polls closed last Tuesday. And NBC News still says the race is too close to call. In Pennsylvania, the U.S. Senate race considered too close to call. Democratic incumbent Senator Bob Casey locked in a razor-thin race with Republican businessman Dave McCormick. McCormick has the narrow lead, but Casey's campaign says there's no winner yet, as officials still count ballots. And in hyper-local politics, Lower Manhattan voters may soon see a familiar face jumping into the race for an open city council seat. 77 WABC's listeners will recognize the name as well.
Former Congressman Anthony Weiner says he's thinking about mounting a political comeback, this time maybe running for a city council seat. He spoke on his 77 WABC show about what he wants to show his teenage son that it can be done.
I had this idea that I'm going to show Jordan. He's learning more about me and my history. I'm going to show Jordan what service looks like. We're going to work on a campaign. I've been asking around, and people will say, Anthony, why don't you run? I don't know, to be honest with you. There's all kinds of reconstruction, not the least of which the things in my past.
Weiner says he's considering entering the race for City Council member Carlina Rivera's seat in Lower Manhattan. Norm Reagan, WABC News.
New York State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli is leading an investors lawsuit against Texas-based CrowdStrike after last summer's massive computer outage. The outage disrupted banks, airlines, supermarkets, a number of other industries, costing billions of dollars, with CrowdStrike's failed software update plan. The company's stock plummeted. DiNapoli is leading the class action lawsuit on behalf of investors, including the New York State Common Retirement Fund, of which he's a trustee and which serves about 1 million government employees. The MTA's annual holiday fair now open at Grand Central Terminal. The transit agency has teamed up with Costa Rica Tourism to launch opening day in Grand Central's Vanderbilt Hall. The artisan market features unique handcrafted jewelry, pottery, artwork, and accessories. Numbers from the New York City Police Department show crime is down compared to the month before, but looking at the numbers year over year, that's a different story.
Police Commissioner Tom Donlan says that crime in October had a steep decline, especially in shootings, assaults, and robberies. However, experts point that looking at the data compared to the same month last year, assaults and rapes are on the rise. Felony assaults peaked to their highest level in 25 years, and rapes rose 17% compared to October 2023. Although some other crimes have dropped this year, shootings, even though they have passed pre-pandemic levels, are down 7% compared to last year. I'm Liz Radabali for 77 WABC News.
Big-time traffic issues today along the Long Island Expressway. The eastbound side of the LIE remains shut by exit 49 in Melville following a crash early this morning. Traffic was backed up a bit, but it could have been worse if it weren't for Veterans Day being today with a number of people out of office. WABC News Time, 3:04, sports, weather, and Wall Street next.
Coming up at 3:55 p.m. Listen for the Tunnel of Towers Foundation Final Thoughts on 77 WABC. Your heart, it's gotten you through a lot. From your first kiss to your first grandchild. So when your heart needs exceptional care, trust the experts at White Plains Hospital. Our team performs state-of-the-art arrhythmia treatments, complex open heart surgery, and now the most advanced minimally invasive heart valve replacement procedures. So our patients get home sooner or to wherever their heart takes them. White Plains Hospital, among the best hospitals anywhere that just so happens to be here. A member of the Montefiore Health System. 77 WABC News, continuing the tradition of delivering the best radio news.
77 WABC Chime Time, 3:05. In sports, Giants legend Michael Strahan is being criticized by some for not putting his hand over his heart during the national anthem yesterday. This was during Fox's coverage of the NFL and Veterans Day. Strahan and his post-game show colleagues were standing during a performance of the song, and the Hall of Famer stood at attention with his hands folded in front of him respectfully. Many note it's actually the Pledge of Allegiance in which you're expected to put your hand over your heart. Strahan is also a self-described military brat whose dad was in the service, and he celebrated veterans in a social media post. The bond market closed today for Veterans Day. Stocks are mixed. The Dow is up 300 points. And from the Ramsey Mazda Weather Center, today, mostly sunny skies, a high near 68. Overnight, mostly clear with a low near 47. WABC News Time, 3:06. Dominic Carter next, 67 degrees. Clear skies in Midtown. I'm James Flippin. And remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Listen to The Other Side of Midnight on The Other Side of Sunrise. Download and subscribe to the podcast.
Like, share,
Listen
subscribe.
anytime. Go to WABCRadio.com/Frank.
Like, share, subscribe.
City to the world. It's Dominic Carter.
And on this Veterans Day, Red Apple Media and Tunnel to Towers honor our heroes that put their lives on the line to defend our freedoms and liberty. Join Red Apple Media and Tunnel to Towers all day as we honor those who fought for our country. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, a special guest, someone who has spent his entire career helping veterans, and that is legendary entertainer Tony Orlando. He will join us at the bottom of the hour. But I'm starting with this, and this is what is on my mind.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
38th Street.
Got the hold of me tightly, flow like a hawk, daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know.
And yes, ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice. You know where I'm coming from. Ice, ice, and not about some rap song and Vanilla Ice. Ice, ice. Migrants, can you hear me now?
What's up, Zelensky, Zico? Welcome, welcome.
Near you. And Trump, one of his recent appointments over the weekend. This guy is coming up roses. That is the former president and current
Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
45 to 47 president of the United States. States, and that is Mr. Trump, in which I want you to listen to this. So, his new water czar, Tom Homan, vowing to launch America's biggest deportation operation.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if it's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together. You better start packing now. You damn right. Because you're going home. And I got another message. Another message to the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggle enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
Benito, and that was Homan at the Republican National Convention, which we were obviously broadcasting live from the RNC in Milwaukee. The number to reach me live right now on this Veterans Day is 646. Oh, that's not the right number right now. The number to reach me right now, folks, is 800-828-9222. 848-848-9222 on this Veterans Day. So it took losing every swing state for Democrats to realize this obvious point here. It took Trump to win 312 electoral votes when he only needed 270. To see the handwriting on the wall. Woke is broke. Haven't I been telling you that, folks, this entire campaign? The morning crew at Morning Joe, MSNBC, read a weekend column from Maureen Dowd in the New York Times in which she declares, so maybe they'll take it seriously now, that woke is broke.
Donald Trump won a majority of white women and remarkable numbers of black and Latino voters and young men. Democratic insiders thought people would vote for Kamala Harris even if they didn't like her to get rid of Trump. But more people ended up voting for Trump, even though many didn't like him because they liked the Democratic Party less.
So all the analysis now, all the analysis to figure out that woke is broke. Black Lives Matter, can you hear me now? You ruined your chances for the Democratic Party. Black Lives Matter. I hope you're proud of yourself. All you progressives, the AOC nuts, where are you now? Where are you now? AOC is so confused. She's trying to figure out people that voted for Trump and then voted for her re-election. She's actually on social media asking people to reach out to her if you voted for Trump and also voted for her. It is so interesting, folks. We're going to begin with your telephone calls in just a second. At the bottom of the hour, legendary Tony Orlando on this Veterans Day. The New York Times, the paper of record. Frank Bruni admits the mainstream media lost to Elon Musk and says much of the discourse now happens on other venues besides the traditional media. Newsflash.
You've always been sort of the leading edge of where media is going with Politico, now with Axios. You understand the environment so well. How do Democrats, and frankly, how does legacy media need to change the way it thinks about getting information? I mean, a lot of the voters who went out and voted for Donald Trump, that so many people are wondering what happened here. They're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way. And the Trump campaign found those voters where they live. So how did Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters if you think that's part of the problem?
For sure. I mean, I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is. It is to you, it is to me. It's a relatively small group of people who rely on us for their information. And you have to go into the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And basically, the way people get information is shattered into 20, 30 different pieces. And so if you just look empirically at the numbers, Joe Rogan's more important than any of us. He just has a much bigger, hyper-connected audience that listens to his every word. So maybe listen to Joe Rogan and try to understand, like, what is he talking about? What are the guests that he has on? What are the issues that they care about? Realize that the gravity of right-wing discourse is now taking place on X. It's not Fox. X is what matters. Elon Musk is now, I wrote about this yesterday, arguably the most powerful civilian in the history of the country. He controls information flow. He controls multiple businesses. He has the president's ear. He's going to be in charge of some newfangled organization to gut government spending. We've not seen a person with that kind of clout across those sectors. But where his real power comes from is X. People thought he was an idiot when he bought X because he lost a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. And now he happens to have the most powerful platform on the right. And politics is downstream from information. And there's just a whole new information ecosystem out there. So for us, for you, for Democrats, for Republicans, you have to understand that you now are going to have to basically navigate 20 or 30 different parts of the ecosystem if you want to connect with the American people who vote.
Exactly.
And it took this election for you to figure out that the mainstream media is not as relevant or as important as it thinks it is. It took a shellacking election day to figure that out. Really? I'm going to begin with Mike in Oceanside. And let me say this, folks. If you are on the telephone calls, I have heard you loud and clear that you want different voices. And if you call me every single show, I can assure you I'm not going to take your call. That's not going to happen. Give it a break for a few days. Let somebody else get on the air, and then we'll circle back to you. So I'm looking at the board right now, and I won't embarrass the person by saying their name. The person wasn't on the air in my midnight show, but they're calling me every single show. And the producers told him, Dominic is not going to take your call as long as you keep calling every single show. And so I guess they don't believe the producers, and, they're going to have to learn the hard way. But before we get to, because I am trying to get as many new voices as humanly possible on this program. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the high ratings, and we plan on keeping it that way. So, Bill Maher, you talk about getting it wrong. I mean, he's funny sometimes emphasis sometimes, and he's made himself relevant with his HBO show. But I want you to listen to this on like 4 different points. Bill Maher got it wrong on every single vote in terms of the issues, in terms of who was going to win the election, in terms of the Trump supporter, in terms of would he be able to expand his base. Wrong, wrong, wrong.
Am I going to worry about it? First of all, though, because he's not going to win.
So you think he's just worn it out? You think people are just going to get fatigued?
No. I feel
category fatigue.
I mean, it's just going to be, we're talking about a few 100,000 people, perhaps. But I think it's going to be a little closer than that. First of all, she's definitely going to win the popular vote, as Democrats almost always do now. But I think she will win. I think he will, of course, go batshit insane, as he always does, and won't accept it. His followers, I think, I don't think their heart will really be in it, as it was in 2020. Some of them, there's lots of people who will always be in the bunker with Mrs. Goebbels, taking the poison and giving the poison to the children, because it's better than living in a world without National Socialism. I make an analogy, but I don't say he's a nut. But I think for most people, it's just fatigue. Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay, enough of Bill Maher. Bill, Listen, man, your show on HBO, it's all right. You don't know what you're talking about. I can't be any more clearer than that. Wrong on every single point. Mike, line 1, Oceanside. What's on your mind, Mike, on this Labor Day? Okay, Mike, okay. Folks, you cannot listen to the radio while you have to listen to the phone, because if you listen to the radio, it's on a delay, and you're not going to hear me when I go to your call. Let's go to line 3, Eduardo in Tampa, Florida. What's on your mind on this Veterans Day?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dominic. First, before I get on my comment on...
It's gotta be quick. Waldo, I'm ready for a break. Go ahead.
Mr. Holman is a great move. Yeah, Mr. Holman is a great move. Definitely, he was at the top of my list. And Todd Benson says these caravans are not broken into small groups speaking to the border. So that's my comment.
Okay, thank you for the call. We are going to take a break. I am coming right back with your telephone calls, and coming up in just minutes now, Tony Orlando on what this Veterans Day should mean to all of us.
This is Dominic Carter. Roger Stone here with an urgent warning. Inflation is killing the dollar, and Washington is coming for your savings to pay for their spending mistakes. That's why thousands of Americans are shielding their savings with gold. For a free 2024 gold guide, which explains everything you need to know, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone or call 800-747-6589. That's 800-747-6589 for your free gold guide, and to learn if you qualify for up to $7,500 in free silver today.
The jewelry selling prices are going up, and the last time you saw a decrease was the Reagan administration confiscated by American Safety Insurance Agency. They put the freedom of choice back in your hands with their exclusive rate and find online portal. Visit AMPACom, call 888-333-3565 to now become 25% on auto, home, motor, call 888-822-3565 today.
Let the little children come to me. God has intervened by placing the dream back on and God intervened by inspiring Bobby Longway to say,
we're all truly blessed to have a leader like President Trump.
Read about this and more in Bob's new best-selling book, Donald J. Trump and the Spiritual War, available now on Amazon.
This is Judge Janine Shiro with an important message. A mom in Litchfield being followed by a man in a parking lot. As he approached their car, she pulled out her Burnham launcher, and the sight of it was enough to make him flee. Burnham gives you the power to protect your family without lethal force. No permit, no background check, just peace of mind. Visit Burnit.com and use code Janine for 10% off. Remember, Burnit isn't legal in New York City or Yonkers. Stay safe, stay prepared with Burnit.
Now, the latest from the 77 WABC Newsroom.
President Trump's son, Eric, says he was not surprised at all that his dad won back the White House and did so in such a decisive way.
Frankly, I just think that the country is set up on so many ways, right? They're set up with the legal prosecution, the legal lawfare in this country. You know, they saw them try and take down my father every single day. You know, they sham impeachments, and then the dirty dossiers, and the Russia hoax. You know, trying to pull them off the ballot in Colorado, and trying to pull them off the ballot in Maine, and trying to take them off of Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, you know, raiding his home and everything else. And man, I think people set up with that nonsense. They see the game, and the game that was being played. And
Eric Trump told Sid on Sid and Friends in the morning that Americans, even those who were never fans of his father, are suffering and seeing that they have to pay so much more for basic everyday items. And that's part of what drove them to vote for his father.
Everything was more expensive in this country. Prices, you know, America had become unaffordable to live in, and then cable bills, utility prices, you know, groceries, gas prices in this country, right through the roof, mortgage rates, mortgage rates, inflation. More people working 2 and 3 jobs than ever before, right? And
Eric says the Democrats just overplayed their hand, demonizing their father and using the court system to try and take him down.
I think the legal lawfare that they put on him really backfired. I mean, every single day he'd go out there and defend himself. And first of all, I said that he was a fighter. Second of all, people in this country are really smart. They can see through games, right? I mean, they can see through this nonsense. And I mean, it's always being again with Eric Adams right now. I mean, you know, the guy, he got upgraded on a commercial flight, and you know, he's being indicted. I mean, you know, when he goes across, against the agenda, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't necessarily pass the smell test, and my father certainly didn't pass the smell test. That was nonsense.
You can hear the entire interview with Eric Trump by heading on over to WABCRadio.com. Go on Rating WCBC News. Coming up at 3:59 p.m. Listen for the Tamara Towers Foundation Final Thoughts on 77 WABC.
At King's Harbor, they're incredibly proud to be one of the top-rated multi-care centers in the country. Whether it's hospitalization, post-surgical care, wound care, or any other rehabilitation needs, their devoted team of doctors, nurses, and specialists are here for you with genuine care and expertise. Their state-of-the-art equipment is a testament to their commitment to your well-being. Come experience the compassion and dedication that defines King's Harbor. KingsHarbor.com today. That's KingsHarbor.com.
Listen to Talk Radio 77 WABC on your Echo device. Tell Alexa to play 77 WABC.
77 WABC.
From New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And on this Veterans Day, Red Apple Media and Tunnel to Towers honor our heroes. Heroes that put their lives on the line to defend our freedoms and liberty. Join Red Apple Media and Tunnel to Towers all day. Honor those who fought for our country. And coming up in just minutes live, the legendary Tony Orlando. Veterans have been a very important issue to him throughout his entire career. We will find out why in just a few minutes. An issue that's near and dear to his heart. But some Democrats, it's time to unify the country. Some Democrats, some liberals are not happy. So the 4B movement, where some liberal women are online telling other women, don't have sex with men, because men voted for Trump. Don't have sex with men. Did you hear that? Don't have sex with men. We'll see how long that lasts. Another part of this is some are stating to put on a mask to protest Trump's victory. I don't know exactly what that does, but take a listen.
Easiest and most effective form of protest we have right now is to start immediately. Put a mask back on. Stop letting them observe your face. And have the side benefit of better health and protecting the rest of us in the world. Put a mask back on. Government.
Oh, now I get it. So that men can't see you. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. The 4B movement. No sex for men. No sex because you voted for Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years. In protest and protection of your body. As we know, if that little baby inside you is in trouble and you need an emergency health care, you're gonna die. I think that is sufficient enough reason to stop having sex. Don't you agree? This vote wasn't a vote for Americans. This vote was for men. And unless you want to become the handmaid's tale, then us women need to protest because this is some buttery.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida. Because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next friend. And I'm dead serious.
You down with 4B? Yeah, you know me. This is a response, a female response, to total opposition to this 4B movement.
I made public service announcement. The bitches behind the 4B movement. Not one man is losing sleep over the fact that you don't want to have sex with them, that you don't want to procreate with them, you don't want to date them, and you don't want to marry them. In fact, the entire premise behind the 4B movement is a future without men. The same men that fought for our country, the same men that have built our roads, built our bridges, maintained our vehicles, trucked our stuff from point A to point B. They don't want to touch you. In fact, they don't want their gene pool polluted with your left-wing nonsense bullshit ideology.
All right, back to the telephone calls on this Veterans Day. Bill, line 1 in New Jersey. What's on your mind, Bill?
Big Dom finally got through. I just want to say glad Trump won. I listened to your callers for a few months. I'm from Eastern Europe. I know more about North Putin and socialism than any of those callers. They're completely wrong. We call them in Russia and Ukraine, we call them Silazouki, which are ruthless idiots. And they're controlled by the Tsutsky, the provocateurs, who are the politicians, the Joe Scarboroughs. And it's comical listening to these callers on your show at night. Because
I got it, Bill. I wish I had more time. Coming up when we return, the great, the one and only Tony Orlando acknowledging this Veterans Day.
Film prices are going up, and the last time you saw a decrease was the Reagan administration. Focus this, an American Patriot Insurance Agency. They put the freedom of choice back in your hands with their exclusive Rate and Bind online portal. Visit AMPATINS.com. Call 888-322-3565 to an average of 25% on auto, home, renters, business, even pet insurance. Call 888-322-3565 today.
The U.S. is the biggest consumer of human trafficking, while Latino women are the most exploited. Kamala and Biden have been the exploiters by not protecting the border. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me." God has intervened from exploitation, and God intervened by inspiring Rob Unonway to say,
we're all truly blessed to have a leader like President Trump.
Read about this and more in Bob's new best-selling book, West, Donald J. Trump and the Spiritual War, available now on Amazon.
This is Positively Ernie. Now, here's Ernie Astor.
Now let's look at more stories in the news and what people are talking about with a positive viewpoint. You know, more organizations and companies are implementing a return-to-office policy to bring workers back to the office. But there is a debate surrounding this action. A recent survey says that this may be a way for companies to push employees to quit and to avoid layoffs. Well, Jimmy Kinley is a workplace expert.
ניסית להתקשר? כן, עלות המחיר $6.
Estimated time in traffic, 10 minutes.
6.75. כמה היה? היה $5?
In half a mile,
שם
turn left on
אלבניות,
7th
אלבניות
Avenue.
כוסיות. איזה דגם? אני לקחתי ספינאץ', יש להם ספינאץ', מיט ומה עוד?
לקחתי גבינה.
גבינה, ספינאץ' וביף, כן? כמה לקחת? יש כאלה קונים קונטיינרים, כמו פיצות, אתה יודע. עם הביתה. לא, לא, אני רוצה לדחוף יותר מדי. זה רק טעים כשזה חם.
לא, זה פתאום לא לחמם. בתנור אבל לא במקרה.
לא, מנפי תנור זה.
הייתי קצת פיצה, רק שתי פיצות. באתי לפה לאכול את הפסח.
כל הכבוד. עושה תמונה של הפיצה פלייס.
אתם לא מסופסמים אותם.
לא, בחוץ, חנות, מניו.
כן.
פיצה רגילה, לא חושב שקניתי מהם. היי, מה כאן, כמה עולה סלייס אצלהם?
4.
סלייס רגיל $4.
עדיף לקנות סלייס רגיל מאשר לקנות 2 קטנות מעפניות, אתה יודע?
כן. הפסקתי ללכת לזה, ל-99 סנט, עושה לי ברבה.
לא, הם עושים עוד דולר, ואתה אוכל כמו שצריך, לא?
כן.
קח סלייס אמיתי. רק שני סלייסים יותר קטנים מהסלייס רגיל.
כן. וכמה תנועה יש ברחובות בגלל הווטרן דיי.
ניסו לחטוף ילד חסידי בברוקלין.
ראיתי, כן. צריך שיהיה חוק שאסור להסתובב עם מסכות. כל מי להסתובב עם מסכה, דע לך שהוא אפטו משהו לא טוב.
אני רואה מחברים אחד במקדן, שאלת לו, למה אתה תופסים את הפנים שלכם? אומרים לי, אנחנו קדושים, אסור לנו את הפנים של הקדושים.
קדושים?
קדושים.
קדושים.
אנחנו קדושים.
על מה יגידו שהם כהנים? צ'אנל 12 בארץ, צ'אנל השמאלנים?
כן, 12,
בא דייר לרחל, אומר שעובד בצ'אנל 12. רחל שמעה ככה, מיד עלתה לו את המחיר ל-300, איך הוא נהיה? לא, סגרתי עם אבנר 250, אבל אתה נהיה בוסית 300. דצמבר לוקחים 250.
אבל אנחנו לא בדצמבר.
אנשים סוגרים מעכשיו לדצמבר. אני אגיד לך, צריכים לנסות כל דבר. אבל אתה מבין שאנשים עושים את החישוב שהם מזכירים ממקום א' למקום ב' והם זורקים את האופניים ממקום ב', אתה מבין? כאילו... אנשים עושים חישוב שהם לוקחים את האופניים מא' וזורקים את זה ממקום ב', אתה מבין? בלי צורך לחזור. צריכים לנסות.
צריך חוק להחזיק יש לאופניים. אתה יודע כבר בגילאים.
כן. זה מה שנקרא אפל משהו. אפל טאג.
Turn right on West 22nd Street.
אפל טאג. אבל הבעיה בעיר גם שגונבים חלקים, גונבים כיסאות, גונבים ברקסים. כל פעם גונבים. אז זה חסר למישהו משהו, גונבים. את הסקוטר שיש לי. יש לי סקוטר כזה שאני קולט שהבטריה הולכת להיגמר, למכור אותו לפני שיגמר. כל שנה, שנתיים הבטריה הזו עושה עשה פלברות מספיקה. אולי מתכנתים את הבטריות שנה-שנתיים שצריך להחליף אותם, אתה יודע. שים איזה ג'וק בפנים שהבטריות מתעייפות. הגיע הזמן. איזה מים מינרליים או מים מהברז? לא עושה מים מינרליים, יעלה יותר מדלק. לא, הכוונה מים מהחנות, אתה יודע, מים שלהם. חשבו $2, כל בקבוק. שמן של פלאפל. ב-23 והשישית כל מיני רוכלים. חפש חניה. כן, מוקדם, אבל היה צריך לפגוש מישהו למכור את הסקוטר. אתה רוצה שהקראת לפיצה בלי. אתה לא מאשר לי לעבוד בימים שיש פחות מהבית ספר. אין לי שום לעבוד. מתקשרת מהאפל וואץ'. I need to come home. גם האייפדים מתקשרים. בוודאי, יש לאפל וואץ' הרבה זמן. אומרת לאפל וואץ', היי סירי, קול אבנר עליה. קול דד, היי סירי, קול מאמה. סירי מתקשרת בשביל. חצי מהמרוסים במנהטן יש להם את האופניים של העיר. איך הם גונבים אותו? זה נעול, לא? פעמים זה לא ננעל, הם מושכים את זה.
כן, הם בודקים, למרות שלא נעל.
מי שלא נועל מקבל $אלפי קנסות. לא, יש אופניים הכחולות בלי בטריה. כן, ראיתי כבר 5-6 כאלה. צבעים, כל מיני צבעים פסיקים. אבל אתה יכול לקנות אופניים כאלה גם, זה $2,000 אופניים. אחד נסע עם האופניים האלה לקליפורניה. כן, היה לו לא יודע, שבוע-שבועיים. כבר איזה בלגנים היה לו בדרך, היה לו פנצ'רים, היה לו כלבים תוקפים אותו, חיות תוקפים אותו.
אנשים חווים את הנושא בקליפורניה, חווים שהסרט שלך שטיח, אתה נוסע לכל חנה. לא יודע אם זה נותן כל מיני חיות, חוויות.
חייבו אותו זה $3,000 על זה. הוא אומר, עשיתי להם הרבה פרסומת, למה הם חייבים אותי?
נוסעים איזה תוקפני, אני יודע, אני לא יעלומים איזה
One tomato coming up. One tomato coming up. But thank you everybody for sticking around. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love. לא, לאנשים של הלייב, אני בלייב.